Dave Smith didn't hesitate to ask the real questions.
Barack and Michelle Obama. He goes into the White House. Look at the house he lives in now.
During an appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast, the issue of career politicians getting rich came up, and the pair went all out on the Obamas and the Clintons.
Those speeches are wonderful. He's like, wait a minute, your policies benefited these corporations, and then, surprise, surprise, those people after you leave office want to hear you talk so badly.
And today we're covering it all. By the way, we just launched this channel, and we'll focus solely on debates. So if you believe truth isn't partisan, hit that subscribe button and let's jump right into it.
But listen, they're all crooks. Look, the inside trading is off the chart. It is so crazy that that's legal.
Dude, the Clintons, okay, Bill and Hillary Clinton have, since I was a little kid, I mean, since I was like 4 or 5 years old, was when he was governor in Arkansas. Their entire career is they were public servants and they ran a charity. And they're worth like $100 million or something like that. Like, wait a minute, huh? Wait a minute. So you guys haven't been practicing law any of this time. You haven't been working in some industry where you've made tons of money. You were public servants who make, healthy salaries, but not like that's going to put you in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And you ran a charity, the Clinton Foundation. And now somehow you're Barack and Michelle Obama. He goes into the White House. Look at the house he lives in now.
This is a serious issue that's almost an epidemic with our politicians at this point. They enter public service with fairly modest finances, then somehow leave as multimillionaires. If we look at the Clintons, in 1989, their net worth was around $420,000. Fast forward to 2015, and the Forbes article claimed they made $230 million since leaving the White House. The same pattern shows up with Obama as well, who increased his net worth 30 times compared to when he entered the White House. And according to recent estimates, his wealth stands at $70 million. But the thing with him is that he spent his presidency playing on identity politics, while Michelle now endlessly speaks about victimhood. So you'd think they're living in a single-bedroom apartment. So let's see how Joe and Dave describe one of his homes.
It is crazy, though, that they don't, like our leaders, don't even feel the urge to, like, kind of not shove it in all of our faces.
Right.
That there's, like, that this whole thing is just, it's all just kind of like, oh, how much money can I extract from this pot and get myself wealthy? You don't feel like any sense of... And I will say... The one who I like kind of personally resent the most, which maybe is unfair, but is Obama. Because so many of us did kind of buy into, at least to some degree, the thing he was selling in 2008. And you're like, wait, but you don't feel like you have you seen pictures of the house he lives in?
Well, he's got multiple houses. He's got one in Hawaii.
Yeah, right? But I'm talking about the one in Martha's Vineyard.
It's pretty dope.
I clicked on an article about the house that he had, and there's a fun fact about the street that it's on.
A bunch of Saudis own it, right?
Yeah, at least 5 houses.
Yeah.
After leaving office, Obama moved quickly into the high-end real estate. He bought 3 properties in a short span of time. The first one in Hawaii, a beautiful beachfront property, which the couple originally purchased for $8.4 million under their LLC. The second in Washington, D.C., just a few miles from the White House, and it was purchased in 2017 for $8.1 million. But the crown jewel is the one in Martha's Vineyard, roughly 6,900 square meters, bought in 2019 for $11.75 million. I'm all for a former president living a comfortable life after leaving office, as their job is one of the hardest and most critical for this country. But for someone who basically got rich because of being a politician, this might be going overboard. So you may be wondering, how did he make so much money to begin with? Well, you have the Netflix deal, the insane speaking fees, and the book deals. Joe and Dave noted that there might be more behind those moves, though, and the pair made some valid points.
I think the flaw in that is that yeah, but they always find a way to get, because look, those speeches, that's not contributing to anyone's campaign.
Right.
And that's not technically rewarding you for bailing out the big banks. It's just you happen to bail out the big banks and then they happen to really want to listen to what you have to say after that. And look,
of course the book deal's warranted. People want to read your book.
It's like the idea that you could ever close down on every single loophole. Look, the Saudis weren't allowed to contribute money to Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign because you're not allowed to do that. But they could give $10 million to the Clinton Foundation. And then once Hillary Clinton lost, it's so weird, they stopped donating. Like, I don't know, they just stopped being interested in charity, you know? The House of Saud was really interested in charity for a while there in 2016.
And isn't the charitable foundation thing a sneaky tax way of making money?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because there's a thing about charitable foundations, like everyone who's like really rich seems to have a foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the expert on that or anything else really, but I know that they certainly like get a whole bunch of tax breaks that you wouldn't get if you just started a business.
There are a few key clarifications worth making here. First, both the Obama Foundation and the Clinton Foundation are registered 501c3 nonprofits, which means they do not pay federal taxes on the donations they receive as long as they stay away from politics. Second, like any charity, donors can write those contributions off on their taxes. But this is where things get interesting. These foundations can function as pay-to-play schemes, where large donations overlap with time in office. We saw similar concerns raised during Hillary's time as Secretary of State, and Obama still holds enormous sway inside the Democratic Party. That money is then funneled into causes that expand influence and visibility, which later lead to book deals, speaking engagements, and media opportunities. Obviously, this is all legal, and no investigator would be able to prove any crime, but it's still absurd nonetheless.
All it is just corruption on a much, much bigger level.
But it's legal corruption.
Exactly. And everyone just accepts it.
It's a wild time, my friend, because people have access to information now that allows them to really see all this stuff. Like the insider trading thing's probably been going on forever, but we didn't even hear about it until about a decade ago.
Yeah. Oh, very rarely came up.
Rarely.
It was just kind of accepted that like all of these people are rich.
Yeah.
And we don't really know where they got their money from.
Except
Like,
Jimmy Carter. And that's one of the things that people loved about Jimmy Carter. Is Jimmy Carter to the end really just maintained a very simple lifestyle, you know, and just never chased money. He never was that guy. He didn't do those crazy speeches where he talks to bankers and makes $500,000 for some strange reason.
Yeah.
Like those speeches are wonderful because those are the cutest. Those are the cutest ones. Because like, wait a minute, your policies benefited these corporations, and then, surprise, surprise, those people after you leave office want to hear you talk so badly.
The Carter example works so well because he represents a different path. Of course, there are former presidents like him who chose not to cash in on their influence after leaving office. And that's the real issue. Many people now see politics as this way to get rich, since a lot of officials in office today have no real connection to serving the public. And that helps explain many of the problems that we face right now. This doesn't mean earlier politicians were more altruistic by default, but the system didn't offer them the same easy path to massive income after leaving the office. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, keep thinking.